Yo, here we are, Ball and Breakfast Podcast. My name is Gio, and first off, welcome back, guys. Well, first of all, welcome back to me. Uh, I know it's been a little minute. Usually, you guys get more of a consistent drop of videos. However, as you can probably hear in my voice in a little bit, I'm still recovering. A bit under the weather the other day. Decided to feel like I was somewhat young and shooting birds. It's bird season in Jamaica. And then after shooting birds, getting up around 4:45 in the AM for the hunting season, shooting twice for the day in the rain, I decided that it was a viable option to drive 2.5 hours to go to a Chris Brown concert and basically stay up until the next day, 4:45, not remembering how I am aging and that there are limitations to what it is that I can do as I age further. So I just want to say I'm sorry to my subscribers. And I doubt it's gonna ever happen again. So hopefully accept my apology. And let's get right into it. As the thumbnail says, we're going to do a quick recap on what transpired over the weekend. Obviously, you would have seen my video previous to this that actually led to me losing my voice, which was my excitement over Liverpool beating Newcastle 2-1. I will not go back over that recap simply because just watch the video ahead. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to get right back into everything that was going on. Because as we stated in the first episode of our podcast, this is a channel that is all encompassing. We try and get a bit of all the clubs in the top six and a little bit around the top six in terms of the top 10, even relegation, but at least an all around football podcast. So I'm going to try and touch on all the salient points for the weekend. And we can also touch a bit into our transfer news for the teams. All right. So let's go into the results from this weekend. And I'll have to start with Arsenal Fulham. 2-2 draw, right? That's the first thing that we have to highlight. 2-2 draw, home game, 10-man Fulham, lack of concentration. Again, this in absolute need from Arteta to be somewhat of a copycat of Pep Guardiola is going to cost them. Very much, it's so funny. Not to, and again, not going back into Liverpool, just to draw this comparison. When it is that I look on the Liverpool Newcastle game, us dropping down to 10 men, what did it then require from our football team? Required our right backs and our left backs and our centre backs to stay home. It required a compact thought process to the game, no spaces in between, and hit on the counter attack. Okay, now that's not going to work with every team. Obviously, Arsenal playing Fulham in the ascendancy, if the owners, especially at home, the onus is on them to break down Fulham's defensive prowess, or whatever that is. Now, the fact of the matter is, there are glaring issues with Arsenal's backline and defensively. And I don't think it has to do with personnel. I think it has to do with asking players to perform a new role when the old role was not broken. Sorry. Inverting your fullback can only be done when you have a Roger in your team or specific type of center backs, right backs that are just world class. They can play passes, they can defend well, they understand formation, spaces, gaps. A lot of players are not that, hence why everybody's not a world class player, and we can all accept that and say, listen, they're not in an abundance. Somebody needs to wake up and tell Mikel Arteta that. I don't understand how you go from. I don't know what Gabriel Bangalis did to him. He's not been starting. I don't know why you stumbled upon Ben White being a good right back, but yet he doesn't play at right back. You then take your central midfielder probably your best center midfielder over the last previous 4 years before Declan Rice gets there, and turn him into an inverted right back just to say that you have somebody that can play the ball in the middle and play that box. It leaves too many spaces at the back. I said it about my club. And all in all, just a bad idea. The Premier League is for competition. It is not for flattery. And the greatest form of flattery is imitation. We need coaches, especially at the top end of the Premier League, that are going to try and dismantle and own their own system, because that's where you consider dynamic thought. That's where you get creativity from. As it stands right now, Mikel Arteta looks devoid of creativity. He looks like a second-rate Pep Guardiola. He looks like somebody that is devoid of ideas. And it does not look good for Arsenal going forward. They also have, even though Eddie Nketiah is performing right now, I just don't see him as a top 6 starting striker. Now, I could be wrong. Disclaimer. And personally, for his career, I'd love to be proved wrong. However, I just don't see it. He's missing a lot in his game. He reminds me in quite a way of Ryan Brewster. Missing a lot in his game. But Arsenal, major concerns going forward. Valiant performance by Fulham. Again, saved by what seems to be their new talisman in João Palhinha, who might be off to Bayern. But we'll get into that in another segment. Going through, we have Wolverhampton Wanderers beating Everton. Everton still without any points on the board. Relegation is where they're heading. And as a Liverpool fan, I mean, there's not many things that gets me more excited than that. So kudos out to Wolves. They still have a goal scoring problem right now because Everton is not hard to play. They're not defensively sound and only scraping a 1-0 win. It doesn't bode well. And then they're going to lose Matheus Nunes to Man City, which is going to take away a lot of the creativity from the team. They already have a goal scoring problem. I think Wolves are in big trouble because they won't have time necessarily to reinvest that money. And hence, the championship seemingly beckons. However, what might save them is the fact that you do have your Luton, that's one. You do have Everton, that's two. And you can battle it out with your Nottingham Forest for that third spot in terms of who's going to be worse. Shock result for me was West Ham Brighton. Didn't see this one coming. Absolute dominance by West Ham. Moyes masterclass is what I'd say. And I mean, once in a while, you have perfect fits. Now, perfect fits may not necessarily mean prolific trophy accumulation. It might mean perfect fits to take you from level C to level B and B to A or even E to D, right? David Moyes has found his perfect fit with West Ham United. The club loves him. He loves the club. The players believe in him. They respect him. And the results are flowing. Jared Bowen, he's the next one to go. I think Jared Bowen is going to end up leaving West Ham before Lucas Paqueta. Absolutely. Mikel Antonio, dominant physically. The imported Jamaican. But Lucas Paqueta, Jared Bowen, Souček, just an all-around good, well-balanced team that is sure of what they want to do. And that is hold steady, absorb pressure, hit you on the break. I think that played very well into Brighton's hands, which is champagne football. And if you don't get to capitalize on that good football play, if you can murky it up against them, then there's a result to be had. Different styles of football. Was more of a rock, paper, scissors, and rock beat the scissors on this point in time. De Zerbi needs to learn how to win ugly. and his players as well. But good result there for West Ham United. Tottenham, I think, was more of a routine win, opening the account of James Maddison. I said this before, I'll say it again. I do believe Tottenham are going to have a good season simply because they get to play more dynamically rather than having a focal point that they must involve, which is Kane. I remember when he was injured. I remember when Heung-min Son, who has not had a good start to the season, don't get me wrong, Heung-min is not playing well right now. The fact of the matter, though, is that they've become more dynamic. Now that you can't game plan for the game plan going through Harry Kane, it makes them a little bit more confusing. They're not as predictable. Usually it would be Son, Kane. If you can shut that down, then they have nothing else. They're currently without Bentancur. And I'm interested to see if when Bentancur comes back, do you pair him with a James Maddison? Because that's creativity in bundles. And then behind them, you have that Bissouma there, workhorse. But so far, Big Ange is getting it pretty well done, other than the cup exit, which was recent. And I know that's going to sting, but it allows him more time now to focus on the tactics that he wants to execute with Tottenham. And so far, so good. I mean, the results speak for themselves. And we have to just give massive kudos to the Tottenham Hotspur, who has done extremely, extremely well. Beating Man U, drawing with Brentford, now capturing a scalp with Bournemouth. So well done to Big Ange. And I can see them battling it out for that fifth place. That fifth new Champions League spot, I can see them battling it out for that one. Now, onto the match of Saturday, which was Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest, 3-2. What a game. So much to unpack in that game. I believe I detect a certain level of stubbornness from Erik ten Hag. I said it before, and now I not just detect. He's a stubborn SOB. Stubborn SOB. Because, guys, when is he going to give up on Anthony? Jadon Sancho has not scored, but he has shown enough impact off the bench to say, yo, let me give you a starting chance. Let me embolden you with some confidence. I understand it, 85 million, and he's your player. You requested him. So you're going to ride him until the wheels fall off. Pause. Right? But, I mean, he's not producing. That right-hand side of Manchester United, that right-hand side is dead. When they play, Anthony, Mason Mount, Wan-Bissaka, the right side is dead. It is dead. Deadbeat, deadwood, not good. No creativity, no balance in defending, just imbalances all over the place, which I predicted this. Guys, imbalances all over the pitch. One little injury, couple little injuries, and now it's crisis mode, guys. Manchester United are in crisis mode. We watched the Nottingham Forest go to Old Trafford. And albeit the second goal, a lot of luck. But the first goal, the first point of interest that I want to start off with that game, what an atrocious attitude by Marcus Rashford. When you do brilliantly, you should be praised as you were last season by me and many others to the best of our abilities. But when you are a shithouse, you must be told, hey, buddy, you're being a shithouse. And he's being a pompous, spoiled little bitch. That first goal, Marcus Rashford is one of the most rapid players in the Premier League. He was not going full tilt to catch that player. Awani, by the way, ex-Liverpool signing. Guys, what is he doing? Foul him. Anthony was right beside him. Wasn't going to get a red card. How do I know? He plays for Manchester United. Onana didn't get a red card. He ain't going to get a red card. The refs love Old Trafford. Cheaters. Right? Bad attitude playing down the middle. Devoid of any interest. Doesn't move much. He doesn't try and even shoot the gaps. Pompous, spoiled little bitch. That's what I think Marcus Rashford is. Pompous, spoiled little bitch. Doesn't want to work for the team. Doesn't want to make the sacrifices. Wants the glitz and glamour. Doesn't want to make the sacrifices for the club. Yet parades around as the biggest club first guy in the world. Gary Neville. Oh, I'm getting in shape before the season starts. Only to go 3 games, no goals, no assists. Oh, silly. Just silly. Wake up, smell the coffee. You're a professional. Act like that. So after going down to bombastic, brilliant Captain Bruno came alive. Now, the balance in the midfield looked way better with Mount out. Even though defensively they were still very frail because Eriksen is not a defensive monster. But again, going back to what we said week 1, the range of passing that Eriksen possesses allows him to sit beside Casemiro in that deeper role, which generates a little bit more space because people are not pressing Manchester United. So you give a pass master, which he is a pass master like Eriksen, time and space to pick his spots. He can dictate the game. Massive difference between him and Mason Mount. Mason Mount, physically, marauding, good striker of the ball, will defend. Not as intelligent. Midway IQ. Eriksen, high IQ, brilliant pass master. Older player doesn't have the legs. 2 totally different profiles. This profile works better. But they've invested so much money in this profile that Erik Ten Hag, personal request by you, Eric, has to play him. So they're in a rock and a hard place. But anyways, Bruno comes alive. Casemiro comes alive. Eriksen comes alive. And they drag the 3 points away from Nottingham Forest. Now, a lot of fight, a lot of character shown in that performance. And I would say that would be a springboard performance for them, excepting for a couple things. It's Nottingham Forest. That should have been a routine win. Secondly, Balan gets injured to add to the ever-growing injury list without replacements. Manchester United are in panic mode. They're in crisis mode. And it is going to be a turbulent season for them. Turbulent season. Heart rate going up, down, up, down, up, down. Please pray that Marcus Rashford holds up United fans. Please pray that he hits that run of form that gets him that 25 goals. Because if he doesn't, if Rasmus Højlund does not turn out to be the next coming of Fat Man Ronaldo, by the way, that's Ronaldo Nezazuri, you guys are in trouble. Big time trouble. Below 10th place trouble. You heard it here first. Going on to Sunday. Aston Villa. I mean, I don't know whether or not it's Burnley that played too open. forgetting that they are just coming from the championship, or it's just that Aston Villa is just finding themselves to be quite a dynamic team under Unai Emery, which I tend to believe it's the prior, because Unai Emery has issues with offense historically. When you think about his Villarreal team, his Arsenal team, they struggle. They're good in terms of defensively, but they struggle with scoring goals, which this season is kind of like the flip around. They're banging in goals left, right, and center, but they concede one at least every game. But kudos to them. We'll see you guys on Sunday. When I say wheel, guys, don't ever forget, this is the premier Liverpool fan. Want to say kudos out to Sheffield Wednesday. Good fight against Man City. Rodri comes up big. Erling Haaland definitely missing De Bruyne. The service, the quality of the service is not the same. Hence why I do believe there's a massive opportunity for a lot of clubs if they can take advantage of this gap period. Let's see what Matheus Nunes does at Manchester City. You can't replicate Kevin De Bruyne. I'm sorry. Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne. But obviously missing Kevin De Bruyne in that squad. Rodri, I mean, best CDM in the world right now. I don't know what else outside of that to say. Best CDM in the world right now. Erling Haaland, not as sharp this season. Probably took the off season a little too easy, considering that he's breaking all records and he has all rights too. And obviously, finishing out with the fixtures, heroic performance from my Reds again against Newcastle on Tyneside. Brilliant, resilient performance. Again, won't get too much into that because that was done on the previous video and I said what I needed to say. So that, my dear friends, completes the week 3 roundup of the Barclays Premier League, brought to you by the Baller Breakfast Podcast. See you guys for the next episode. Adios. Goal!